Today we're talking all about natural consequences. We asked if you guys needed help with this and got an overwhelming response. I needed help with it. So
That was how it started, I think.
That's how it started. Parents shared everything from like bedtime battles, kids not listening, sibling conflicts, throwing food. So we're going to walk through the most common themes that came up, and Natasha's going to give us some scripts and strategies to use in those moments. But before we get to that, should we do our millennial must-have of the week? I feel like you have one.
Do I have one? Oh, I liked that wood gua sha tool.
The wood gua sha that Kimberly Vanderbeek gave us.
Yes.
We will link her link. It's awesome.
Well, she didn't give it to us more as like I took it. Be like, I like
No,
this.
I mean, she gave us the link.
Oh, yes. Oh, she was going to give it to me, and I was like, oh.
No, we bought it.
We ended up buying it, yes.
Okay, can I tell you what mine is? I know you're a really big fan of those CO patches. You post about them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I am a fan of this other brand called Sealed. SEALD. Look at my forehead. It's working so well. I'm going to get these strips for the face. I have they're coming. It's a miracle.
So wait, what's the difference between that one and the CO?
The CO, I know they're reusable, which is nice, but they feel a little more sticky. This is more like a Band-Aid, and then it really feels so much tighter when I take it off.
What's it made out of?
I'll send you the ingredients to look at, but they're non-toxic. It's like all good stuff.
Let me double check it, but okay.
Okay, so not perfect, but
no, we're all doing great, and we'll see how I'm doing today because I'm on day 2 of the fast.
Oh, right. So you're doing the ProLon fast. Tell us everything.
My husband really
wanted natural consequences of that.
Natural consequences of that, less patience. I feel more focused. I mean, I got that blog up yesterday and wrote that. So yeah, you were shocked on that one.
We got a recipe up today. We got a lot of things going.
I did write out something for natural consequences, like a little table. I thought might be helpful.
Yeah, like something we can link to in this podcast.
Mm-hmm. So that way you can have a little sheet, and you can like a cheat sheet when you're stuck, because I find when I do all the parenting consults, they're like, yeah, this is great now, but when I'm in the moment, I don't remember. And I was like, oh, so cheat sheet.
Ooh,
as for the fast, my husband saw this podcast. I forgot the guy's name, some doctor who's really into this evidence-based science about fasting, but it's more fast from all foods. So it's you're just drinking water, but he's got a whole clinic. He talks all about it and all of the benefits of it. So he got really into it, and somehow he found ProLon. He's like, have you heard of this company? I'm like, yes, I've heard of it.
By the way, it's the Diary of a CEO podcast, which is very, very popular, and we will link that particular episode here.
Thank you, Emily. I didn't remember it. He was just like, let's watch it. And it said it was how long?
It was an hour and a half.
And I sent it to Emily first. I was like, Emily, you watch this first, because I can't sit through this long of a podcast.
And I did.
Fall asleep. But I ended up watching it that night with him. It was actually very interesting. I was able to sit through it because it was very interesting.
Okay, so let's get to the
whole fast and why, we're doing this is in solidarity with my husband, so he doesn't have to feel so bad when we're all eating together, and I can eat the soup and whatever else is there. This tea and this is the tea. Lots of drinks.
Yeah, I feel actually like having someone else in the house doing the things that you're doing makes it so much easier. I'm gluten-free, my husband's gluten-free. It just makes life easier to be on the same page with a lot of things.
And I get it. So I'm doing it with him.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk natural consequences. I think we've gotten to that point.
Yeah.
So I want to start with the not listening, ignoring directions thing.
Is that going on in your household?
Well, sometimes that happens, but also so many people, that was of all the questions, when you put them together, that was the number one most asked question. So many parents just say their kids flat out ignore them, don't follow directions. Like, what are the natural consequences for when kids don't listen? Let's say, brushing teeth or cleaning up toys, or, I'm giving you a lot of things.
There's a lot. That was a lot to unpack. First, let's just start. The goal isn't punishment. It's not to say, well, you're not listening. That means you have no TV. It's not to shame them, make them feel bad. It's you need to connect, right? First, you need to have rhythm in place, and then you need to model. The root of discipline is disciple, right? And it's to guide, to teach. And I think many of us, and myself included, and my husband also, we lose our way sometimes when we're not as patient. But children, they thrive when those daily tasks feel a part of the natural flow of life rather than battles of the will. So natural consequences, they should feel organic and connected to reality, not imposed artificially. Because when you say like, oh, you're not brushing your teeth, okay, you're not getting dessert tomorrow, it doesn't quite connect. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So just with a quick example, let's just say brushing our teeth, right? So with a little one, say they're 3 to 6 years old, right? I like to break it up into categories.
Age categories.
Sorry, thank you. Children are still living in that imitation and rhythm phase. Natural consequences need to be really immediate. They need to be immediate for them, and they need to be gentle with minimal explanation. I find that a lot of the times I call it word vomit when I'm talking to parents, and it's just over explaining and it's just too much information. I get overwhelmed. And so with a little one like that age, between 3 and 6, they don't want to brush their teeth. I want to first see what happens beforehand. Sometimes they're playing, and so it's hard to pull them out of their play to do something that's part of their flow. So I like to set them up for success, right? Turning the lights low or putting on a red light. And when you have the bath time, I have the red light on in the bath. So it's just a lot calmer. You don't have a ton of toys all around. I have like maybe a bowl and a couple cups and a sponge. That's about the extent of it. Because when you have too many toys, you're riling them up and getting them overly excited to play and telling them it's time to play. It's not time to settle down.
Right? To decompress.
Yes, to decompress 100%. So when they say they don't want to brush their teeth, you can give them that immediate consequence of, then our teeth will feel like this, have the fuzzies on them, And when they have the fuzzies on them, then they don't get to be as strong. We have to remove the fuzzies. Would you like me to do it, or would you like a turn first? So it's very simple and calm. It's not like, you have to brush your teeth now, otherwise we're going to be late for bed and we're not going to be able to read a book. Do you notice the difference? You're more likely to listen to the first version of me versus the second version. So let's say now we're at like 7 to 10, ages 7 to 10. So at this stage, children are living in this feeling stage. Natural consequences are still experiential, but they can hear short truths if they're stated calmly. And if you notice at this stage, this is where I talk about the 9-year change. It's a very famous thing in Waldorf pedagogy. And you'll see your children having really intense feelings. This is where the talking back comes in, the rolling eyes, the what some parents refer to as very melodramatic, and they overreact to everything. And you feel like your child is completely different. So setting the stage for that one.
We'll link a blog here on the 9-year change for those who are not familiar.
Great. So when a kid at this age doesn't want to brush their teeth, for example, that's when their teeth are going to feel dirty. Their breath is going to smell. Cavities may form. So these are the natural the consequences that happen. And so you want to give them some authority to it, right? Some responsibility, because this is when they're starting to want to be a little bit more independent. And you'll start to notice that at this age. Your teeth belong to you. When you don't care for them, they won't stay as strong, and you'll feel it. You're also going to have really bad breath, and your peers, your friends, are going to notice it. So it's up to you. And if they really, truly don't want to brush their teeth and they're really sticking to it for some reason, I let them skip it. And Blake's like, oh, that's hard for me to do.
No, I want to hear more.
Honestly, most of the time they don't. There's been a couple times where they have, and then they feel it the next day. They're like, oh, my teeth feel so gross. And then I might be a little bit more overly exaggerating the smell and say, wow, whew, your breath smells real funky today.
I don't think you're exaggerating based on my experience of brushing their teeth.
Fair point.
I like that. Okay, so then the next age group would be like 11 to 14, which you have one of those in your house.
11 and 14, children are starting to live more in this thinking stage, right? They can take on more responsibility, they understand fairness, and they handle privilege being tied to trust, right? So that's where you can utilize those things for natural consequences, the privileges.
It's more thinking stage. They can take on more responsibilities. Let's use the brushing teeth example as a consistent model here. What would you do?
They'll get a cavity and they'll know it. And your teeth will smell bad. And when you keep this up, you're going to have cavities. It's going to hurt. And it will change the way your mouth is. And you'll have to go to the dentist more often. When a child keeps this up at this age, I feel like something else might be going on. But then I would take them, honestly, to the dentist and let the dentist talk to them and say, like, wow, there's a lot of buildup of plaque. And let them see that natural consequence there.
I like that a lot.
But I find that at that age, I don't think kids are really fighting it as much, at least in my experience. Obviously, I've only experienced parenting an 11-year-old boy. I like to say that. I've never parented an 11-year-old girl. I've parented a 9-year-old girl. And so it's just all different. And I tell my kids that. So that way they know this is also new for me too.
So I like the age delineation because that helps
break it up
a lot, not only for brushing teeth, but other sort of protests of kids. But when it comes to sibling conflicts, I know that was the second or third biggest question. Hitting, roughhousing, taking toys, purposely annoying younger siblings. Maybe you know a little bit about that.
And there's 4 in our house, so
there's a lot of that going on. What are some natural consequences when kids can't treat each other safely or respectfully, I think, is a question that a lot of people had various ages on.
So let's start with that first group, the 3 to 6. You have to remember it's immediate. It can't be delayed. You can't talk about it later. You have to go in there and you put your hand in the middle and say, I'm going to put my hand here to keep everyone safe. I see that something is going on between the two of you guys and you're arguing about a toy. I wasn't there. I'm not sure what happened, but it seems like this toy needs to take a rest. And at this age, I like to use a lot of visual imagery. So the toy needs to take a rest. It needs to take a nap before we continue playing with it. So that way it's easier for them to imagine when you use that visual imagery. And so it's just removing that toy, but it's not like, all right, you guys can't play with each other anymore. You go to this side of the room and you go to that side of the room. They're not going to understand that. They're just going to think, okay, now my parent's mad and now I have to be scared of them. And I was talking about this with a friend of mine the other day, and she said, well, isn't it good for your kids to be a little bit scared of you? And something I like to ask is, would you rather be, I took this from my husband, so I can't take credit for this. Would you rather be feared or would you rather be respected? And so you want to teach your kids to respect you. And just like you want to respect your children, they will then respect you back. Obviously, there's going to be some battles here and there. And this is the whole point of connecting with your children, having rhythm and modeling for them so that there can be that nice two-way street of respect.
So the next stage.
So ages 7 to 10 with regards to sibling conflicts. This is when they start to notice cause and effect, and kids start to notice relationships and fairness. So you'll start to hear your kids come in and say, well, that's not fair. It's not fair, right?
I hear that all day long for things that don't even make sense.
Okay, so hence the focus on fairness, right? So natural consequences should focus on trust and belonging when regards to sibling conflicts. So say your 7-year-old and 9-year-old start hitting each other. I'd step in, separate them because it's a safety issue, and say, when you hurt someone, your sibling doesn't feel safe. So the play is over for now. And that's the consequence. The play stops. when you're roughhousing. When the play is too rough, then it belongs outside where it's safer and you have more space and you don't have sharp edges of tables, whatever. Make sense?
Yeah.
Want more examples? Okay. Sharing toys. When toys aren't respected, then no one uses them until you're ready. And so with, like, say, the 3 to 6-year-old age, you use more of the visual imagery, right? Here you get to the natural, like the actual cause and effect. You guys aren't ready to play with the toys right now. We're taking a break. We're calling each other names. Let's say, when you speak unkindly, then others won't want to be around you. And your sibling's not going to want to play with you. So we have to think about that. Would you rather play by yourself? And they may say, yes, I just don't want to be around my sister right now. That's fine. But then we have to remember to speak kindly. I need some space. I'd like to be by myself. And so we
What
just
is that
remind them.
thing you always say? Is it kind? Is it?
Is she heard me in the car saying this the other day when we were on the phone. Is it kind? Is it true? Is it necessary?
Is it kind?
Or is it necessary? Is it true?
Is it necessary? Can you put that on the cheat sheet too?
I'm going to write it down. I'll text it to you.
Okay. My son doesn't have a sibling, but I think that's applicable for talking to us, talking in a play date. I overhear some things like,
Oh, 100%.
whoa, that sucks. And
Honestly, I learned this from my children's Waldorf teachers, and they say to them in class.
Is it kind? Is it necessary? Is it true? Love that. Okay. I think we've gotten to the point where we can talk about the natural consequence in sibling rivalry or sibling, I shouldn't say rivalry, sibling dynamics. Thank you. With the age 11 to 14.
With 11 to 14, that's like that thinking responsibility stage, and they can handle logic and privileges and responsibility again. So with my 11-year-old, you have to connect those to trust and freedom. So when you have responsibility, that comes with freedom to have privileges. And when I can't trust you, those privileges are then removed.
What's a privilege, like his movie night?
It depends. So remember, I want it to have like a natural connection to what they're doing. If he's hitting his sister, right, then he loses the privileges to choose the play activity that he wants to play with his sister. And he wanted to play a certain game, and then he hit her and they got into an argument. When you break the safety, you lose the freedom to choose the game. And now your sister gets to choose the game and you get to play with her until she is done playing that game. Now you have to realize, when you say these scripts, your children will break down. I have to make sure to
it's not like they're going to be like, hey, thanks for the natural consequence.
Thanks. They will break down. You have to hold firm. You need to be the steady, calm one so that they can break down. They will then regulate because you're staying calm. If you're dysregulated, they will then become more dysregulated. So you're the steady rock.
I think that's so, like, I almost want to say, like, louder for everyone in the back, because that, like, holding the line thing is something I have you in my head saying over and over while I'm parenting. If I could give an example, like this weekend, we were at the place where we go swimming with a play date, and the boys wanted to go there to swim. They got there, found a football, decided to play football. 2 hours went by and the play date was over. It was 4:00. It was time to go home. And when we said it was time to go home, my son was like, that's not fair. We didn't go swimming. That's not fair. That's not fair. That's not fair. There was a lot of that. And I just kept saying, like,
he's 9, by the way. So,
right. It's time to go home. And I so easily could have just been like, oh, fine, get in the pool for 10 minutes. But I was like, hold the line, Natasha, hold the line, hold the line. Plus, like, I wanted to go home. I was exhausted. It was a long day. It's Sunday night. Like, it's time, And
right. Because then if you get pushed on that, then everything unfolds.
Right.
When you get home, you're later. Bedtime is later. Then you fight it more, and you tend to.
Which I didn't tell him school and sleep, because you already told me not to say that. But
that's more summer. Okay, wait. You can say yes. We have to prepare our body because we do have to wake up early.
Right. I was like not gonna get into that. I was just like,
that's fine.
Time to go home.
That's totally fine. Short and concise. Whenever you're stuck, short and concise works. I like it. You did great.
I also think short and concise is good when helping your kids come up with tools for how to help themselves in tough situations at school with conflict. Like, I try to give him short and concise language like, that's not cool. Or,
Well, you're talking about when you role play with him.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's true because the more verbiage you use, especially when it's with kids, the more they have to pick on.
that's a big lesson I've learned from you is that not talking so much. Not just to you.
She's trying right now so hard not to talk too much. I love you.
No,
Oh
not to you, to my kid. I talk a lot to you. That's fine.
Yeah, I know. It's okay.
So many parents mention kids talking back, rolling eyes, using inappropriate language, even name calling. What's a natural consequence here? We talked about, is it kind? Is it necessary? Is it true? But maybe a little more to that.
That I wouldn't use in this situation per se. That's more related with peers and siblings.
Okay.
So when it comes to a child eye rolling, typically I find that it happens in the 7 to 10 range. That's when you're either going through that 9-year change or they're coming out of the 6-year change and going into the 9-year change. There's a lot of eye rolling. So say you're eye rolling to me.
Ugh. Did I do it well? My acting skills up to par?
Not really, but they're good. They're good. It's making me laugh. So say your child eye rolls at you. It's really about, I can't listen to you when you're doing that. It's just very simple. When you roll your eyes, then I feel less willing to listen to you.
Ooh, love that statement.
Or when you use those words, then the conversation stops until respectful words return.
Ooh, I wonder if my husband's listening at this point and this late in the podcast to hear all these parts. I love these scripts. Oh, you used to say something that I liked too that was like, try again.
Oh, that I do with the little ones.
Oh, I still do that with my 9-year-old. Not good?
No, it's not that it's not good. It's just that they're starting to take on more of that authority and independence. And so they start to understand cause and effect. And so you can be a little bit more firm with them. With the little ones, you can say, oh, try again.
So that's age 3 to 6-ish.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. I felt that was very helpful.
That's simple.
Yeah. For a long time, that seemed to like really make them pause, think without, why did you say that? Like, that's annoying. I don't know.
Or that's not okay to say to me. That's not okay. You need to go sit down. Try again. And then they get a do-over.
Which is such a blessing. Like, we should all have that opportunity.
We should all have do-overs, right?
Yeah. It's a lesson in it's okay to make mistakes, which I love.
Oh, mistakes. I feel like I could do a whole podcast just on mistakes.
Let's do that.
We
I
should
like
do
that one. Okay.
11 to 14. So now kids are at this age are ready to understand that respect equals trust, which equals privilege. So the consequences should connect words with the responsibility, right? When they're talking back, then they lose the influence in the family. When you speak disrespectfully, then your voice loses weight in our decisions. That means that they don't get to choose the meal that we're going to do or pick out the game or have a choice or a voice in where we should go out and what we should do today.
I like that. What about like cursing at that age? Does that become more of a thing?
It can be, I guess. I find that it's typically more 14 and up. Let's say like if they were being sarcastic or eye rolling, when you speak that way, then people step back. Respect will keep us closer. And so we have to do it over. For the 11 to 14, I think the key is shifting away from the threats. Like if you talk back, no dessert. And you want to shift it towards living consequences. So when you talk back, your voice loses influence in the family. And this way it feels more real and fair and respectful. And kids really sense that truth. If you guys found this really helpful, but feel like you need more examples of different scenarios and different examples of natural consequences, then we can do a part 2. Just let us know.
Terrific.
This podcast does not constitute medical advice or recommendation. Please consult your doctor.